Okay, so the definitions of trig functions. So let's start with drawing a line from the origin of the circle to a random point on the circle. And this is the radius of the circle, so we'll label that R. And then the point on the circle at which the line meets the circle, we could give that the coordinates x, y. And now if we draw a line from this point right down to the x-axis, we could label that point y, because we know that the distance from that point to that point is y. Now that would mean that the line from the origin to the new point we just made would be x. And then that would make a right angle at that new point. Then we would know that this angle right here would be theta. Now we also know that sine is equal to the opposite over the hypotenuse, and the hypotenuse is also the radius. And then we also know that cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and that tangent is opposite over adjacent. Now, going back to this property that we already know, we can say that sine of theta, which is this angle, is equal to its opposite, which is y, over the hypotenuse, which is r. So we know that sine of theta is equal to y over r. And then we can do the same thing for cosine, which would mean that cosine of theta is equal to adjacent, so it would be x over the hypotenuse, which is r. And then we can also do this for tangent, which would mean that tangent of theta is equal to opposite, which is y, over adjacent, which is x. And that is how we get the definition of trig functions.